What's going on, guys? Alright, so welcome to part 4 of the 6R80 swap. So today, well, I guess mainly in this video, we're going to work on getting the plate put on. As you can see, it's already on now. We're going to do some little modifications to the transmission for the starter. But before that, going based off the instructions here, does come with instructions with the plate and all. And what I was really wondering was the dust shield that goes on the transmission. You know, the T5 and the AODs have a dust shield. According to the instructions, you do not use the dust shield with this transmission. So we're going to just throw the converter in, and I have another kit for that, but we'll show that a little later in the video. We'll need, because we're using the start converter. But got some dowel pins that are in the freezer, or actually will go right here on each side. They're alignment dowels. If you remember from the last video, we took the stock ones out of the block. So like I said, I got those in the freezer. Let them shrink a little bit, make the install into the block a little easier. They should just hammer right in and be pretty much ready. We got to replace that rear main seal first, but we'll get to that here in a little bit. But today we're going to focus on getting everything lined up for this transmission, for this plate here, this PA plate. So as you can see here on the Ford small small blocks, the starter is actually a little bit lower than on the modular motors or Coyotes. So this is a stock location for the Coyotes. So we're going to have to do some trimming here. Got my starter here, got pulled out. We're going to pretty much mock it up and see how much I need to cut out. Kind of already semi stuck it on. Looks like I need to cut up to about where that, about right there. So yeah, probably need to take this chunk out. Probably gonna use my little grinder there to do it. Should be pretty easy. This is aluminum. Should be pretty easy to take out. Then that's pretty much it. We'll be ready to throw it in. But first, like I said, we got to take care of that rear main seal and make sure this actually, it's all looking good. Looks like I got all the parts here for it. And like I said, going off instructions here, it's pretty straightforward. Alright, so you can see I got my markings here. So I'm going to cut this section out first. Also, I'm going to take the plate off. We're going to cut this section out, and we'll put this plate back on, and we'll see if the starter clears everything here. Alright, so got the section cut out of the, guess you want, belt housing here. Might have took a little too much out, but it clears. I got some bolts in it, just hold it in place, and just gonna rock it like that. I mean, nothing else I can really do. Keep in mind, if you want to do this, I wouldn't take so much up here at the top. I think the bottom would be fine, but up here at the top, probably shouldn't take as much out. But it is what it is. But at least got that done. Guess I can work on next is getting the dowels put in. It's going on about an hour now since they've been in the freezer. Right, so got the dowel pins in on both sides here. They went in very easy. Like I said, I have them in the freezer for about an hour. I didn't try to put them in at normal temperature, room temperature I should say, but they slid right in just fine. And yeah, pretty much all things left. We gotta change this rear main seal. I'll probably said it 20 times, but we need to get that done before we can even think about putting the transmission in, or putting the flex plate in. But we got hardware for that. As y'all see, I got the BTG. I think it's a BTG flywheel or flex plate, and I got a new ARP hardware we're gonna put in. Alright, so let's rewind back a little bit. about the dowel pins here. So you don't have to put it in the freezer. I should have checked before I'd done it, but you know, we're all learning together, right? So it is easier to put these dowel pins in. Well, you have to put these dowel pins into the plate first, and the plate will bolt onto the block before you put the transmission in. So I was reading a little deeper into the instructions, so figure that out, because you won't be able to put this on while the pin's in the car. I mean, you could, but I wouldn't risk of, you know, warping or bending this plate here. But took the dowel pins back out. I mean, they literally just slid right out. Both of them did. So this is the passenger side where the starter will go, and I already hammered in. I had a little spot already cut out, so it sits flush. You can see it sits flush there. See, it says flush. So this plate will actually go into the motor. This side right here will go into the block, and you'll notice here it's got some spots here to I'm assuming this is for the stock starter location. You got these bolts here, you know, the Allen here just slides in like that, so it says flush. And I'm not sure about torque specifications. Maybe these will have to just tighten down the best that you can, and I'm sure the other ones like these we can just torque down. Alright, so the plate is on. You can see here on the passenger side, got your dowel and the two, like the hex head bolts here into the block, and the other side is similar. You got the dowel pin here, and you only got one hex head on this side. So you got your top two up here, which those are stock or the same, so no changes there. You have a bolt go through here, and the other side you got one here, and you got your starter bolts, and back again up here. And you will run bolts to these. These are a mounting point, I believe. They got threads in them, so I believe you run bolts to those as well. But this is pretty much as far as I can get with the plate. We gotta get this rear main seal fixed. Once we get that taken care of, everything else should pretty much go right together. I'm kind of curious how much we're gonna have to pound here in the tunnel. I know it's going to take a little massaging, and it's really going to suck putting bolts up here, so we'll see how that's going to turn out. Alright, so I got the old rear main seal out, and that one's the new one. So just looking at this one, it had a slight leak to it, but it wasn't horrible. But I mean, while the transmission's already out of the car, might as well go ahead and replace it. But after looking at it, trying to see what brand it is. It's not even a Felpro gasket. I found just looking for a name or something on it, like Engine Tech or something like that. So it's probably just a cheap generic gasket they put in the motor. But got pulled out and replaced it with a Felpro. This is supposed to be like a performance version, so hopefully it's better than what was in the car. I think I might have something to drive this in, and we'll put some oil around it so it slide right in real good. Won't get it nice and straight, and hopefully no leaking. Alright, so got the new seal in. Here's the old one. I just got my screwdriver here and just get up underneath and just pry it off. You don't want to get underneath the crank. You don't want to scratch it or anything. And it just pops right on out. This is the old one. I'm not sure what brand it is. I'm not sure. This is a different day, so I don't remember if I covered the brand of it or not. This is a no name. It's not a Felpro, but put a Felpro performance gasket in, so hopefully it seals it much better. Take to the abuse. And also got that put in. Now we're gonna put in the flex plate, and I got new ARP hardware for it. So when you put the flex plate on or flywheel, it will only go on one way where the holes will match up. So you really can't mess this part up. So I'm gonna go and grab that, get it put on. The new ARP studs did come with some new grease, so we're gonna be using that. Put the little thread locker on, so you don't have to worry about these bolts backing out. Alright, so I got the flex plate on. As you can see, all the holes line up. I just got one bolt in for right now, so it doesn't fall. But it will just keep turning this flywheel or pressure plate till all the holes line up. It's just because of the way it's balanced. So once you find your holes, everything lines up. I'm using ARP hardware on this, so on the instructions it states you should put some. It comes with some lube grease. You put it back behind the bolt, and on the threads, put some Loctite on it, some red Loctite, so the bolts won't back out on you. So I haven't put it on this one yet, but the rest of them I'm gonna put them on. Just get them all in place, then we'll torque in sequence. Then we'll be pretty much done with this. Alright, so got the bolts in, just snugged them down. Now we're ready to torque them down. You do like a crisscross pattern, and that'd be pretty much it for that. You have a new spacer. It comes with that will go on the torque converter. I'll show you that. And that's pretty much it. Just gonna torque these down to 85 foot-pounds as the instructions call for from ARP, and this will be pretty much done from here. Alright, so I got the stock converter back in. I did put some transmission fluid around the input shaft and pretty much all the seals. There's a rubber seal that's inside here. Guess I should have showed you before I put the converter in, but there's like a little seal when the torque converter slides in. So I lubed that up real good. Pretty much lubed everything that I know it's going to have contact, or it's going to be moving around. So I am running the stock converter in this. The reason why is pretty much cost. For example, a Circle D converter I was looking at, it's about $1,200 to $1,300. Yes, $1,200 to $1,300 just for the converter. So we're gonna rock this stock one for right now and see what she does. I'm not sure what the stall is on one of these. I want to say it's 1,600, so like that. So she's gonna be kind of a pig, taking off, but should run real good up top. But I mean, we'll find out once we get to the track. So to make this converter work onto the Fox, you will need one of these. It is a converter adapter set. So pretty much what it does is, for like these, extends these studs on the converter. Because remember, we put a plate on, it's adding a 1/2 inch between the transmission and the back of the block. So this is what makes up that 1/2 inch. We'll put these on. I'll probably use them Loctite so they don't come loose or anything. And you got like I'm not sure you want to call it a spacer, pilot bearing, we want to call it, but this part right here pretty much sits in the center here and up into where the old pilot bearing used to be. But I haven't opened it up yet. I know pretty much how it's going to work out. They're going to screw on, tighten them down. Like I said, I'm going to put a little Loctite on, just a little as security. Don't want anything to come loose. And that's it. I already tested them on the flex plate. They do go through the holes just fine. And I already actually tested the flex plate on the flywheel. It does fit just fine, or on the converter, it does fit just fine. So alright, so back to the converter. According to the instructions, which I forgot to mention before, you need to shorten the studs down on the converter, because the studs that come with the kit has to be flush with this plate here. So I just got my grinder out and just grinding them down a little bit, probably about I don't know, maybe a 1/4 inch, maybe less than that. I took off a little bit. Just, you want to take off just enough that this guy right here, you know, sits flush. So that's what I did all 4 of them, and put a little Loctite on me. It's probably not necessary, it's probably not going to go anywhere, but just be on the safe side. So just about done with this, and we'll clean it back up and we'll get back into the transmission. Alright, so what I was saying before, I lubed up, got some training fluid here, and just lubed it up around here and the input shaft, and try to get some of it in that seal so it ain't dry. So I'm gonna do that again. I clean everything up and get it put in. Then we'll probably call it a night, and I'll probably end this video here because we pretty much got everything else done. It's pretty much ready to go in the car. I do need to get some bolts for transmission mount. Takes 3 of them. Unfortunately, the transmission didn't come with them, so I'm going to have to pick some up at a hardware store. Probably O'Reilly's, maybe I'll carry them. Not very long. I think I found a bolt that actually screws into it. Just take it down and see what size it is. And alright, so I stuck it back into the car, or back into the transmission. I want to note too, when I did cut these studs, I didn't have the original bolts for the converter, or I didn't have anything that I could really screw onto them. So kind of just like I said, I took off about, it wasn't a 1/4 inch, it was less than that, maybe a little more than an 1/8. It wasn't a whole lot. Got them all cut down, they all sit flush. Got a pallet bearing here, goes on so like this. After going through the instructions a little bit more, you do want to verify the converter sits flat with the pallet bearing. So that's probably something I'll do on the next video, because that pretty much be on the install of this transmission. But guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully it's informational, and hopefully it helps you out when you're doing a 6R80 swap with a stock converter. With the aftermarket converter, you can actually have it built with the space added, so you won't need this pallet bearing, or more likely you probably won't need these. So I really don't know, but guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and you have any questions, leave a comment below. Please leave a like and subscribe. Gonna be a lot more videos coming up. Once we get the transmission in the car, we're gonna hit the track with it in May and see what she does. Until next time, I'll see y'all later.